Sorry, man. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Quick Resume 28. My name is Deck. This is Tim, just plain old Tim. Hi, buddy.
Hello.
What's hanging, man?
What's hanging? Plenty of things are hanging, Deck. Yeah, man. No, it's it's all right. Intro really threw me off. That was like the weirdest one yet, with it being so like low key.
I just couldn't. Nothing was coming to me. I just didn't have any adjectives lined up. I just couldn't do it today.
Yeah, I know. Right as the countdown was happening to start the episode, we were like, "This is going to be a shit intro." Hi, everyone.
just letting you know.
But yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm still a little bit sick, so I feel fine. Like the headache's gone and all that sort of stuff, which I had last week. But I just, when you just got that like really annoying like tickle in your throat, and it's just like the worst. And like every time you breathe in, you can like feel it, and you just have to like clear it. I've got that at the moment, and yeah, it's kind of the worst.
I'm starting to get that, man. I can feel it coming on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around at the moment.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, it really hasn't been that bad. I've been able to just go up to my day-to-day life like normal, because colds can really knock you on your feet sometimes and just make you feel like garbage. Like you literally just don't want to get out of bed. I haven't really had that, so it's just been a mild inconvenience, really. But yeah, no, apart from that, yeah, just sort of the usuals. I haven't been doing too much gaming this week. The normal Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I've been playing offline because I don't know. There's a bit of a drought for Xbox at the moment, and I mean, I guess we were just really into the Halo flighting, and then that just got ripped out from under us. So now I kind of just want that game, or I want something similar.
I know. It's that remorse, like that feeling you get after like really enjoying a beta or something, like a limited time thing. You're like, ugh.
Yeah. So there's that. And then I don't know, for some reason we kind of fell out of Destiny 2 as well. I'm not really too sure why, because I feel like we were both quite enjoying it. And I've kind of wanted to hop back on a few times, but we haven't managed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still down to play it. I guess it's just like the Battlefield beta. There's some other things.
Yeah,
I'm dipping my toes in as well. So
yeah. So that's kind of what I've played mostly this week on Xbox. Is just a couple hours, a few hours on that Battlefield beta, which is quite. It's definitely something to talk about.
We've got a topic on it, so we'll swing back around.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Apart from that, that's kind of been my my gaming this week. Like I said, I've still been a little bit sick, so a lot of just binge watching TV and stuff rather than actually playing games.
Makes sense.
Sometimes it do be like that. I did for some reason play Monster Hunter Rise on my Switch. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
it's a good game. Great game, even.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that I'm reading is like the articles on it. It's definitely coming along. They're definitely introducing so much stuff, which we all knew was going to happen. And it just got a PC announcement as well. I think, like literally.
I heard that.
The other day, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, if only they bring it to consoles.
Yeah,
other consoles, should I say? But I don't know. Switch doesn't seem like a console sometimes.
It's a bit weird that they chose to bring it to the Steam platform and they didn't put it on Sony on PlayStation or Xbox, especially considering how well World did. Like, right? It's kind of weird.
It's just Nintendo literally just. I think there was a document a couple of months ago that showed how much they paid for it. And it was like a stupid amount of money. It was like 300 million or something to just like lock it down to Nintendo platforms only in terms of consoles. So it's never going to turn up.
Which is stupid. They locked it down to Nintendo only, but then they put it on PC. It doesn't make any sense.
For consoles, for consoles. But it is stupid because like they're going to make a World 2 and World 2 is going to be on consoles, and like surely it hurts the brand more to not have Rise like multiplat, because by the time World 2 rolls around, loads of people are going to miss out on Rise, and they're going to be like, I just missed, like, what? Like, it is confusing. Like, it's generally confusing how they do some games on consoles and some not.
It's I imagine they're going to take some inspirations from Rise as well and implement them into World 2, because there's a lot of stuff that Rise does pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they give you the option for for Palamutes and Palicos in World 2 because people love the Palamutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they integrated the wire bug in some way. And a lot of people that pick up World 2 are just going to be like, well, I just completely missed this installment of this wire bug and all these Palamutes. I don't know what the fuck this is, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of strange, but
It's just so annoying, man. Because that game's wicked. Like, if anybody who hasn't tuned into like earlier like episodes of the show, like you'll know that we love Monster Hunter. Like we have so many hours in there across the franchise, and you know, like Monster Hunter World, I'm pretty sure we'd both say is one of our favorite games ever made.
probably.
So Rise is amazing. I just like it's just so gimped by the Switch that it's just like it's really hard for me to like have a continued interest in.
Yeah.
The Switch doesn't have online functionality. Thankfully, they just added Bluetooth function, which does make my life a bit easier because my other headset is so like I could, because before I had a problem where we spoke in an Xbox party,
Yes.
but I had to have a Bluetooth adapter under their ear cup to like listen to the sound. It's so dumb, but so now I'd actually be able to do it properly. I say properly, like I have to use the Xbox to speak, but you know what I mean. It's just dumb stuff like that, and like the frame rate, it's fine most of the time, but there are drops, and I'm just so like beyond 30 frames now. I'm just like so done with it.
Yeah. We just got spoiled with World, didn't we? And then it's just
totally.
And I mean, it's a nice change of pace because it's a lot more colourful than World in like its own way. It uses like an old school Monster Hunter palette and stuff like that. World is a bit more, I don't know if you want to say like gritty and a bit more realistic, I guess, in its graphic style. So
it's a bit more grounded.
Yeah, it's a nice change. But yeah, I mean, when you go back to World, World is such a good looking game. I don't think people give World enough credit for how good it looks.
Yeah.
It looks fucking fantastic.
You're definitely right. It's crazy that a game like Monster Hunter World, I still like am like shocked that game exists. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, I don't know how that game exists. Like how that game came out to like 90 plus Metacritic, like completely enamored like the West. Like now that's like a staple like name, like a franchise.
Broke
like
most Capcom sales records and everything.
Right.
It's just
crazy. It like looks amazing. It's like one of the best looking games I would say of this gen. That the animations and on all like the monsters are ridiculous. Like, and you know, some of it's just so cool. Like they botched a couple of things like the campaign together, but for the most part, you know, excelled in everything else. So yeah, and I think there's just enough things that when I go back to Rise, Rise just makes me want to play World. I'm like, I miss being able to play on my gamepad, even though I bought an expensive adapter to use my Elite controller on the Switch. It's like I can do it. It's just none of it's ideal, and it's just like this faff I cannot fucking stand, especially when the Xbox is the Series X is so good at being convenient.
Yeah.
So I just like can't. It bothers me so much.
Yeah, it is a real shame. And I mean, we say all these things that it bothers us, and we didn't play it as much as the other Monster Hunters. We still sunk like triple figures at like hours into the game. Like that's how much we love the franchise. Like Rise, we're very on and off with, because it's on a weird platform and we don't get on well with it. But we still sunk like 100+ hours into it.
Yeah, I'll probably get back to it at some point, but it's
well, they're adding so much stuff. They're adding like G rank, and they've added like new Elder Dragons and loads of new monsters and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of been me. We went a bit of a little Monster Hunter tangent there, but
why not? I'm in a tangent mood, you know.
Yeah, it could be one of those episodes. But
speaking of the Switch, I'm playing Mario Rabbids at the moment.
Whoa, that's a segue.
That is a segue. Game kind of rocks. I've had it for ages, but I haven't booted it up because I've just been like playing Hades.
Is it just the first one?
Never ends.
Just the first round.
First one. I don't think the second one's not out yet. I don't think.
Oh, I could have sworn they released another one or like a spin-off of one. I could have sworn there was a second installment.
No, they did announce a sequel at the last Nintendo Direct, I think, or maybe the one before. But I'm fairly sure it's not out until like early 22, maybe in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Spark of Hope or some shit it's called. But anyway, yeah, it's good, man. I really like these. I've said it before, but I just really like these XCOM style games. I don't know what else to call them because I'm sure there's a name for it, like a proper name other than like strategy. But
Yeah, I don't really know what the actual technical name for that style of game would be. It just falls under strategy, doesn't
It's
it? But
yeah, it's like turn-based, grid-based, like
percentage
strategy, I
push.
guess. Yeah, so it's good, man. It's like really movement heavy. Um, in that, I don't know if you've like seen it before, but like you can like just run at people to get like a dash off, or you can like bounce off your teammates. You like fucking you can run up to them and ping like off in the distance.
Oh,
And then
that's
there's
kind
like skill trees and there's currency and there's like loads of weapons. Like, oh, this is a Mario game. Um, yeah, it's the gameplay itself is really fun. And like the all the upgrade and progression systems are really fun. Some of the stuff is like obviously cheaped out on, like cutscenes. It just like nonsense. Nobody speaks. There's like speech bubbles, and everybody just grunts and make noises. And like Mario, whenever you select like Mario, for example, or any of the characters, I think there's like 6 you get in total, or maybe 8. He just has like 3 things which he says. He's either like, "It's Mario time," or he's like, like, and that's it. And like, it's like, is that it? Is that all you're gonna give me? You're just a shell of a person, Mario. You're not even a real thing.
yeah.
So, but other than that, I'm having a really good time with them. I'm quite surprised. There's some things. There are some things in it which are surprisingly inaccessible, considering it's a Mario game. Like, it doesn't tell you. It's not very clear with like what keywords are. You know how in like Hades, if you hover over something, it will say "bop." Oh, weaken means that you take 20% less, or enemies deal.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. Even like Gears Tactics was really good with that. Yeah, it kind of made me miss Gears Tactics a bit because the kills in that were so crunchy and satisfying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Having a good time.
Oh no.
What's the matter?
No, there's a wasp.
Oh god, it's a wasp.
Get out of my room.
You're gonna karate
Go.
chop it.
Okay,
Man.
carry on speaking. Distract me.
Yeah. Welcome the third co-host, man.
Yeah.
Waspy boy.
Welcome, what? We should give it like a Smash Bros intro. Like a freeze frame. Have fun editing
Wasp
that.
joins the fight. God, it was so big. Okay. I'm a bit distracted now. That was that.
You talking
That
about
was done with my
Rabbids?
Switch talk. Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
I did. I haven't got it on the notes, but I was going to say obviously the Switch OLED came out, and so did Metroid Dread. I don't know anything about Metroid, to be honest. I'm just really surprised that people are like really in love with the Switch OLED, considering everybody, when it got announced, everybody was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's an OLED screen. Yeah, OLED screen's great, but it's the same thing but more expensive." And then people get it and they're like, "Oh, Nintendo, you're the best!" And it's like, what? You know what an OLED screen is, and nothing else has changed. Like, I know there's like the kickstand is a little bit better, and the
It was like
charging dock looks a bit sleeker, and the screen is a bit wider.
Yeah, it was something stupid. It was like 0.6 inches bigger or something. So
Yeah, they just got rid of the bezel, the black border.
yeah, so it's just like I don't know. It's cool, but for how long? How long has the Switch been out now?
Good question. 2016, maybe.
5 years, yeah, something like that. For its next installment, 5 years later, I expected something a little bit better than that. Like I expected it to do some stuff, you know. I mean, is it even capable of 4K? I don't even know if it is it? It's still just 1080p.
No. 1080p if you're lucky.
Yeah,
if you're fucking lucky.
Handheld, you're probably still running 720. Like, I don't know. It's fine. And what's the markup on this thing? How much does this thing cost compared to a normal Switch? $100 extra or something?
I think so. I think it's like. I mean, how much was the Switch for us? A lot, like 300 quid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like 350. Let's have a look.
Okay, so
Switch
I guess it's not too much more. But
I can see it on Amazon for 310.
Okay, all right, that's not too bad, I guess, because I think I got my Switch with a game, albeit for like I think it was like high 270s. It was like 270 plus, I think. So I guess it's not awful, but yeah, I mean it's just classic Nintendo. I don't know how they get away with it. I'm convinced they've got some like grandmaster brainwash like under all their customers.
Definitely.
I mean they're a great company. Like don't get me wrong, I love some of their games, and in all honesty, I love the Switch. Like it is a good console.
Switch is wicked, yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like Nintendo get away with some weird shit, man. I feel
No,
like
they do. It's because
yeah,
they they have good ideas. Nintendo, to me, Nintendo is always like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Like because they have good ideas and they execute them well, but then there's like just enough small annoyances that it just becomes a bit too much to bear. Like that, and that's all. That's Nintendo through and through. No online functionality, no Bluetooth until the other day, even though it's already in the console. You know,
chat
just
through an app. Uh,
yeah,
and they
they only just
charge you.
support.
Not only
Crazy.
is like
They
play,
charge you.
I was about to say PlayStation Plus is not free, but like I don't know if they charge you the same amount as like Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or anything like that, and you have to jump through hoops and go through all this random crap. Like what? What are they
Yeah,
doing? Like
I don't like.
they're just in the past. They're just that little bit in the past still.
Yeah,
But hey,
I mean, yeah, like literally, does it? Like they got our money with the console anyway, without any of that shit. So I think
yeah,
there is like a degree of like I think they know that they can't compete, or it's pointless to try and compete against Xbox and PlayStation in like in
yeah.
the online functionality department. Um,
No,
and I think
yeah,
they
they can't.
know that they are the secondary not for everybody, but they have the majority of their audience is the secondary console audience.
Yeah.
Like they do have Switch, there are Switch mains out there. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
They're the console that everyone plays when they're on the shitter. They come to
without a
accept
doubt,
that.
it's the shit console.
It's the
uh,
ultimate poop console. Like, it's just
yeah. Well, it was like because like they had the Switch, the Nintendo Direct, which we never spoke about. Chris Pratt's Mario, what the fuck? And in that same one, they announced the changes to the online stuff. And when they said that, I was watching with my partner, and she was like, and I was like, oh my god, like thank fuck, here we go, finally some like they're going to overhaul the system. We're going to be able to speak to each other through our Switches. This is going to be great. Maybe I'm able to play like Rise properly again, like without so many compromises. And then they're like, you can like pay double the amount and we're going to give you like Sega and Dreamcast games as part of your subscription. I'm like, what? Like what? And I was watching it and it was like, and they just kept like reeling by like old Nintendo games, like some rare ones as well. Like really old ones. They're like, for only, £25 a month rather than £7 a month, you can get all of these games as part of your subscription. I'm like, Nintendo, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, Twitter's going to explode. I said that to Beth. I was like, the internet's going to explode in anger because they were expecting an online overhaul. Anyway, clocked into Twitter, checked on Reddit. What the fuck do I know? Everyone loves it. I'm like, clearly Nintendo knows their fan base more than I do. Like, because like if it's just such a dumb. It's so dumb because everybody's like, "Oh, I can't wait to go and play like Star Fox," and it's like
Castlevania.
you're gonna play that for 7 minutes, and then you're just gonna be trapped in the subscription for 6 months. Yeah, it's like you can literally just get an emulator and like run it online. Like if you really wanted to, nobody was stopping you playing that.
Yeah.
So whatever. I mean, like literally, I think Nintendo is a big blind spot for me, and I think sometimes some of my moaning is just falling on deaf ears because I don't think I'm that target audience. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're kind of not. I mean, we've only ever been Nintendo fans solely because of Monster Hunter, right? Like we bought Nintendo consoles like the DS and the Switch. Well, no, I bought the Switch for Breath of the Wild, but we bought all of our DSs and 3DSs because Monster Hunter moved to that platform. If Monster Hunter didn't move to that platform, I wouldn't have purchased Nintendo consoles. Like that's just fact. So
yeah,
like,
you're probably right.
we just followed Monster Hunter. That's all we did. That's all Nintendo have on us.
Yeah, it is. It's such a bit of dirt. There's such a bit of dirt in my eye.
Yeah, put some dirt in your eye.
I do. I remember because like the 3DS was like the first console I bought with like my hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. It just seemed kind of cool. I like because their marketing's always quite good, isn't it? Like they always make it like look really good. I can't remember. I think I ended up playing quite a lot on that console.
Yeah, man, we did. Yeah, I always remember when I was similar when I bought like the new 3DS. You know, the one that had that shitty thumbstick.
Such a waste of money.
Well, it's just like a nublet. It's just like
I shouldn't have bought that
little nub.
Yeah.
Like, and then we got Monster Hunter Generations, wasn't it? And I remember we booked like a couple days off work, and you came over to just like bunk over for like 3 nights for the Generations release, and we got the new 3DS. And I remember because I got made redundant in my job like 2 days before that.
Oh shit, that was them, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it put kind of a bummer on the weekend, but it also made it just like ultimate binge weekend as well.
Didn't you get made redundant for Monster Hunter World as well?
No, I've been made redundant twice in my life.
Are you sure? I thought
it was Generations. No, it wasn't World. World, I might have just not had a job at that point, to be honest, because I did go like a 3-month period where I didn't have a job.
That'd be so funny if you were cursed with every mainline Monster Hunter launch.
It's like a Monster Hunter gets released. I'm like, yeah, it's like emotions of yes, and I need to look for a new job.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. Whatever. They make fucking wacky consoles. They're doing their own thing. Go you, Nintendo. I don't know anything about Metroid. I think it looks like shit, but I haven't played it. Guys, it's reviewed well. It's a Game of the Year contender. It's a Game of the Year contender. It's got high scores. That just goes that high. Same as Deathloop, I think.
Like, I don't want to offend people, but I just feel like I've just seen everything that game did done before when I was watching the trailer. I was like, it's a side-scroller shooter. We've had so many of those. It's not even like a roguelite or anything like that, so it can't compete with like the likes of Dead Cells and stuff like that for replayability in my eyes. And there's all this combat where they're talking about like how like the enemies were so cool and the AI was so good, where it like spots you and it chases you. And I'm like,
so whoa, innovative!
I was like, so many games do this. I was like, you walk into its line of sight and it chases you. Like, what is so special about this? And the designs aren't that impressive. They just look like Portal robots. Like, it's not wacky, and it's I don't know, man. But whatever, if you like it, you're a fucking idiot in my eyes. But whatever.
There's so much anger there. But whatever.
Whatever. I purchased an OLED Switch.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I guess. Yeah, well, yeah, it is whatever. I'm sure there's a better place and time to speak more about Nintendo in the future, but that's sorry if we upset you. It's not. It's really not personal. Like we said, we've literally owned like all of the Nintendo consoles other than the Wii U. You had a Wii U, so that's not even true.
Yeah,
I didn't have a Wii U.
I got a Wii U for Wind Waker,
and you had a DS. I never had. Only had a 3DS. So
yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, that's that. I did just want to quickly name drop Artful Escape. I know it came out like a month or two ago on Games Pass, and it reviewed really well. We got like 85 or something, and it's like fucking cool, man. It's like a really artsy-fartsy game. Lots of high-profile voice actors in it, or actors, I guess. There's some Game of Thrones actors in there and stuff. And it's just really pretty. Music is absolutely stunning. If you're looking for a chill game that's like really short, I haven't completed it, but I know it's short. It's only like 4 or 5 hours long. Mate, give it a go. It's fucking cool. So I just wanted to drop that in there.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a visual feast. All right. I figured actually that we should start doing this as like a weekly thing, unless we have loads of news to speak about. Weekly controversies. The thing is, there's always a controversy. Someone is always angry. It's like the scales of fate. Like, for me to be happy, someone else has to be angry, and that means there's controversy. So, here we go. The Battlefield beta. Tim, give me a swing. Give me a swing and a hit. How was that beta for you?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we played it for a few hours maybe. It's really, really, really janky. Like, I experienced multiple bugs and weird things happening in a 2-hour play session. So like, from sort of, I think we had a crash where one of us didn't get into the match or something. So I mean, that's to be expected. Some matchmaking issues in a beta, but yeah, there were issues where I remember a few times someone like parachuted on me, and he like clipped through the floor. Like, genuinely just fell through the map and then just popped back up and just shot me. And I was like, how's that? The man was in concrete like a second ago. I couldn't see him, and now I'm dead. There's a lot of there's a lot of glitches and a lot of jank. But overall, I did enjoy myself overall. Like I did have fun. There is just something about the scale of Battlefield, which is fun, and I'm used to that jank as well because I think I played Battlefield games more than you. I played 3 quite a lot, and I played 4 a healthy amount. Um, and then we dabbled with Battlefield 1, and we never tried 5, but I kind of come to expect jank with Battlefield. You do with that engine and stuff like that. The game is always a bit glitchy, um, but it does do a really good job in just the whole scale of things. I have to admit, you die in a lot of bullshit ways, and sometimes you can get caught in a rhythm of just feeling like the whole lobby is against you. You spawn, you die. You spawn, you die. You spawn, a glitch happens, you die. You spawn, you get killed by a helicopter, you die. But like, you just get caught in these weird loops sometimes. But the important thing to do is to just not worry about that because that's just what happens in Battlefield. No one really cares about KD that much. It's just it's about the whole like scale of things. Like I think we're used to, with our more COD background, Apex and stuff like that, deaths I feel like matter to us a lot more. So we get really annoyed when we go like 3 deaths without getting a kill or something like that. But that's quite normal in a Battlefield lobby. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I guess, but I think the problem is like because the maps are so big though, that you do have difficulty with like you spawn and you have to travel a long way. And
sometimes
I
you
know
can't
there are
run around.
vehicles,
Yeah.
and I think that's more the problem. But I totally get you what you're saying. But I think that's the problem is that it's like your death is more of a waste of your time, more than that it like actually affects the scoreboard.
Yeah, there definitely is a heavy element sometimes of you're like, okay, we're gonna go to D1 now. So you run to D1 for like 2 minutes, you get there, and you just die in like some bullshit way. And then you're like,
Yeah,
okay, great. And then you're like, okay, I'll spawn on you. It's just like, oh no, I'm dead. And then you have to
yeah,
go like all
right.
the way back and then choose somewhere else, just write that off, or you have to run another like 2 minutes to get there or find a vehicle. There can be a lot of time waste in that.
Yeah,
I do completely agree, and that has happened to me a lot in this Battlefield, like especially that zone that you get that's on top of that massive building. Like sometimes you can spend so long getting up there, and you're like, finally, I'm there. I can contest this zone, and then you just, I don't know, just there's no enemies, and then suddenly there's just a pack of enemies behind you, all shooting you, or you get
yeah,
hit, or you get rocketed by like a helicopter, and you're like, I just spent 5 minutes getting to the top of that building. Fuck's sake. Um,
yeah.
yeah, there definitely is an element of that, but
Yeah, and like I think, like you say, like the squad spawning is obviously there to try and like circumvent that, but like the flip side of that is that sometimes you do just like when you're spawning in, like you're spawning into danger, and like you run just as much chance as like of someone watching you pop into thin air, and just like pop like shooting you in the head or spawning on a grenade, I just
yeah,
felt like that was like really commonplace just to. And then, like you say, like the other option is like, okay, I'm sick of this, like spawning on my mates and dying. I'm just going to spawn somewhere safe. So then you're running there, and then you just get taken out by like a fucking bush wizard, like
yeah,
with a sniper.
yeah,
And I don't know. And the thing is, I don't know if this is just Battlefield things, and I don't know if maybe that I was overselling myself on Battlefield, and maybe I just didn't like Battlefield as much as I thought I did, or if some of these things are actual issues that other people are having that could be ironed out to make it a bit more enjoyable. Because overall, like I think, like I would say, I had a good time. I had a good
mhm,
time. It was fine. Like obviously, it was a beta. Obviously, glitches to be expected. I didn't think. I think some people are being a bit dramatic online with like some of the responses about how glitchy it was. Like I would say it was in the acceptable range of a like for a beta.
yeah,
Obviously, if this was launched, then no. But it was like at the very edge of like on the severe end of acceptable for beta. A few more bad things, and maybe it would start to be a bit too much. I know
yeah,
they've only got 1 month to polish it all up, but it's an
which
old
is
build, and whatever, that's fine.
yeah,
But obviously, there were annoying. There were annoying glitches. There were annoying like quality of life stuff, which I don't know if it was just bugged or if it hadn't been, or if it's just not ready. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I'm mostly willing to overlook that. But my main problem with the game is like you said, it's those actual like design bits, like
it
yeah, the spawning and the the vehicle seems really overpowered, like really overpowered.
These are just Battlefield things, though. I'm going to be honest. I just don't think you've had too much experience with that Battlefield. Vehicles have always been quite oppressive in Battlefield. It's just it's all about just if you take it, you know. But you look at Battlefield and it's like it's in a weird limbo because it's like a shooting sim game, right? Definitely more than Call of Duty. I'd say it's more of actually like a shooting simulator kind of game. So like in
Mhm.
that aspect, you want to take it quite seriously, but then I feel like it's also a shooter which a lot of people don't take as seriously as CoD, and it's in this weird kind of limbo of like you can play it really fun, wacky, stupid, and not care about your KD, or you can play it more seriously. And I feel like if we had like a squad, a couple of us, I had a health pack, you took ammo packs, you know, we kind of went around with each other. Someone had a rocket launcher, you know, and we can cover a lot more of these situations that annoy us with vehicles being oppressive or ammo running out, which I think they do need to improve on that because the ammo supply you start with is trash. You literally get like
Feeble.
40 bullets. You get like 2 clips. Like, what is that? I get 3 kills and I'm out of ammo. Like, so like, and I feel like if we did that and we were like, hey, let's think about this, guys, I think that would smooth out our overall feel of the game as well. We were kind of just running in there aimlessly. We were trying to figure it out. And I do think that, yeah, it's partly user error that some of these things did feel a bit oppressive or something like that. But, and also we had crossplay on, and I was dying to a lot of PC players and people that could fly. I imagine it's a lot easier to fly a helicopter using a mouse and keyboard than it is a fucking controller.
They're just plugging a
because
joystick and they're like, right, no,
I
no, no,
just
no.
I just feel like it's easier to use a mouse to like, you know, just go like control like a jet or something like that with W, A, S, and D as forward, back, left, right, or whatever. And use the mouse just to go in whatever direction. Than it is like an analog stick, 2 analog sticks working against each other. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I got into a helicopter and I fucking sucked. Like, remember that moment where I was like, I'm in a helicopter, man. I'm coming. You're like, oh, pick me up. And then I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna make it. And you just saw me fucking for whatever
Yeah.
reason, I did something with my analog stick, the smallest amount, and the whole helicopter just stalled and just nosedived into the ground. And I was like, I don't know what I did, but I'm not
Yeah.
making it to you.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not gonna make it. And I turned around and I just saw your little green icon just like vertically falling down.
But then
It's
those
tragic.
moments are Battlefield moments as well. Like it's a very odd game.
Yeah, and
But I do
I
think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I did talk about the whole, well, you were talking about with it being janky and releasing in a month. They definitely have to work on that, and I hope they can, because these guys are trying to justify a £70 purchase out of people, where most multiplayer games are free these days. So
mm,
people are going to expect a pretty polished package on release. So
yeah, and like I definitely want to come back around to that, but there were just some other like bits and bobs I wanted to go over because I know you mentioned like the crossplay thing when we were playing, but like Halo was crossplay, and it never felt like that. So like that tells me that it's just an inherent problem with time to kill. Time to kill was really quick, right?
yeah, it was quick. It was like
Really
It
quick.
was like 4 bullets to kill someone with my
That's
AK.
yeah, I feel like that was not normal for Battlefield. Again, don't know. I feel like it was
It,
always a bit longer than that.
it's about that. I'd say maybe it's a touch quicker. I think Battlefield Hardline was the quickest time to kill has ever been. But yeah, I think it's normally a bit uh, higher than that, lower than that. What's more? I don't know. It normally takes longer to
A
kill.
faster time to kill. A faster time to kill is quicker.
Yeah. So it normally takes longer in other battlefields. Definitely 4 and 3. I feel like there was people were a bit spongier. But then I think we're also coming from Apex, right? Like it's going to be a bit jarring. There is an element of that as well. But
Yeah, I know, but and this is the thing. I just feel like so many, and I know I'm not alone in this. Like like I said, I know a lot of the community have been ragging on this, and if anything, I feel like I'm being a bit generous, and I know like the wider audience has been a bit down on it. and like apparently the Battlefield subreddit is up in flames.
Really?
Yeah. I just feel like a lot of the elements of the game are like philosophies of the game are at odds with itself. And like I mentioned this as well, the shooting, like the actual gun in my hand felt good. Like the responsiveness of the stick and moving the gun, that felt good. What didn't feel good is that I didn't feel there was any reactivity when I shot someone. Sometimes I couldn't tell if I was hitting someone or not. And I know the bullets have travel time, and I know there's bullet dip. But even when I'm like shooting at like short to mid range with an AR, I was like, am I hitting? Like, how much damage am I doing? It never felt. I felt like I was shooting at paper people. Whereas like and maybe none of this would be as much of an issue. I don't know, because Apex didn't feel like that if we had not played Halo over the last few weekends, because you shoot someone in Halo, you know, your gun was like, and like the shields like light up, they pop, you know, you get these big crosshair markers to see if you're hitting headshots or not, you know, you kill them and their body like flops over. And none of that in Battlefield, because there's so much going on, and like I just don't think it's like built into the shooting mechanics. When you're hitting someone, I can't tell. Sometimes I'm like chasing people and I'm like trying to pop them with a pistol, and I'm like, am I hitting you? Like, am I doing damage? And then sometimes they'll die, and I'm like, great, I guess that worked. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like, I don't feel like the people I'm shooting at are like reacting to my bullets. I don't know if you get what I'm saying at all.
I kind of know what you mean. I do. Yeah. I mean, I think I had elements of that. I don't think it was quite as extreme as how you felt with it. But I definitely did have some issues with hit registration and stuff like that. It was a bit delayed here and there. But overall, it wasn't too. I didn't find it as jarring as you did, but I do understand what you're saying as well. Like I definitely can see that and did experience it to an extent.
Yeah.
There's
definitely some hit reg difficulties there. Yeah, and again, like I think it draws particular attention to it because Halo's was so good. Like, you know, it was so clean and so clear. And like I think, you know, maybe this is another thing. What I'm saying I think a lot of the elements of the game are at odds with themselves. Is that this game looks absolutely amazing, like stunning,
so
like the projectile effects, the particle effects, like the environment reactivity, like the trees moving with the wind, and then the rocket goes off and like the volumetric lighting throughout the smoke, and oh my god, it looks amazing, it looks ridiculous. But then some of that, it's like, because that's happening, it like diminishes my ability to tell if I'm hitting people with bullets. Like, it diminishes my ability to tell if someone's running up behind me because there's no fucking footsteps or radar or anything really. The ping system is fucking useless. I meant to say that as well. Yeah. It's on RB, which is great. Halo doesn't have that luxury, and it's on D-pad, which is a bit annoying. But at least on Halo, when it happened, it was really clear for the most part. You know, it's like it wasn't amazing, but it was good. Nothing comes close to Apex's ping. This was useless. This was actually a waste of my time.
Because there's so much on your HUD anyway.
Exactly.
It's unreal. They definitely need to adjust that. I've actually seen some complaints about people where, like for example, if I spawned at HQ, you know, the base is well at the back, and then you have to drive or run like 10 minutes to get to any of the zones. It's the one where your vehicles spawn. If I spawn there, I can see your name if you're at like the furthest point in like really big font on my HUD. I can see your entire name, your entire icon, as well as like 5 other things. And I'm like, this is so oppressive. Like, I don't need to see your name right now. I am like 5 miles from you. I don't need to see your name. Like, make that pop in or make that get larger when I get closer to you. There's no reason I need to see your name from there. And it's just, there's just so much going on. And I think if they cleaned all that up, the ping system would be better than it is. I don't think they necessarily need to make the ping system better. Just clear up the other shit. Like, just make that less oppressive. And I think you'll probably be all right. But yeah, the footsteps. Oh my god, yeah. There's just too much going on.
Footsteps?
Well, there are no footsteps, and I think rightfully so. It's a good design choice, because if there were footsteps, it would be insane. It would be insane. There's so many people running around. There's so much going on. There would be so much foot audio all the time.
I don't know, man. I feel like,
and I think they are there. They're just drowned out by so much other shit going on. There's always explosions happening, whether someone's just crashed their helicopter like me, or someone's firing rockets, or they're all just yelling medpack ammo. I think there are footsteps there. It's just so drowned out. But yeah, I got killed behind so much, and I was like, okay, I guess that guy's there. Great.
Yeah. And again, like this is, I think this is a Battlefield thing, but like I guess, but like it's this squad, like because of the squad spawning, like you can literally just have a team of 4 appear on your back, like without any like indication at all. And for all the
Yeah.
bitching we did about Halo's radar, it made me wish I had Halo's radar, like because Halo went from like mostly good but a bit unclear to when people were around me to this in Battlefield. It's like I am clueless. I may as well be blind, like other than like a very slim. I might as well have blinders on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I mean, we said a lot of negative things, but like you said, the game looks beautiful. I do think the gunplay is great if they tidy up the hit registration a little bit. It feels great. Like the recoil patterns on the guns are really nice. They feel good to shoot. Just touch up on the on the hit reg a little bit. The grapple's a nice addition. It's
Fine.
it's nothing on what we're used to with Apex and Pathfinder, which is just fantastic. They absolutely nailed it with like the momentum based grapple for like Pathfinder in that game, and the whole like
Oh, and Halo.
And Halo. Yeah, I still think that Apex's grapple and Pathfinder is leagues above the Halo one as well, personally, but it's good in Halo too. But yeah, Apex still takes the cake, I think. But yeah, it's a nice addition because otherwise it can be a bit annoying to get around. So it gives you that nice extra mobility option, which I think Battlefield did kind of need. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a welcome addition, like for sure.
I don't know. I guess there's some balancing they need to do. Because I never like I was looking at the other class abilities and I was like, I don't want to use that. I don't want to sit in a drone and scan an area while I get aimed up at and have my head shot off. Like so I don't know. I know some other stuff like a turret. Like what the fuck? Like the map is like 30 square miles big. Like what's a turret gonna do?
Yeah, why do I want to be Torbjorn? Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know. That sort of drone might be quite cool. Like if we're on top of that building, for example, if it works like Crypto's drone, you get in it, you leave it somewhere, and it can just pick up enemies. It might solve our dying
I don't
from
think you could
behind all
leave
the
it.
time issue. Oh, okay, all right. Well, then
I gave it a go once, and I don't think you could leave it anywhere.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Some of them, I mean, definitely the grapple and the stim pistol. Even the stim pistol was pretty useless. I mean, I feel like the one everyone should use is the grapple, right? It's the most immediate, effective thing. Like it can literally get you out from dying. It can get you to places quicker. It's just useful in every scenario where everything else is just a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like because this is again like the grapple is fine. It's probably a good addition to Battlefield overall. But again, coming off Halo, like I'm just like this doesn't feel good, man. And I know, like you say, like Apex probably still holds the crown in terms of movement for what you can do with the grapple. But Halo has the advantage of like utility. Like it's part of the sandbox. You can grapple up to vehicles. You can grapple, equipment, objectives, people, enemies, teammates. All of this, but Battlefield has neither. The mobility isn't really there. There's no sandbox utility. So again, like it would any other situation, you'd have been like, oh, cool, a grapple. It looks all right, but it just doesn't I don't know. It has no flair. It's just like get from A to B. You can't swing onto vehicles. The grapple just like locks from where the point of contact and takes you to there. Like you can't do anything super fun with it.
You definitely can't. You definitely can't hook onto vehicles. You tried that on an enemy vehicle.
Yeah, so yeah, it will just the first thing it hits, even if the vehicle keeps moving, you'll just see the grapple suspended like in the air, and it will just take you to that point. You won't stay attached to it.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, we're getting into nitpick territory, but like it's overall it was fine. I came out a bit underwhelmed to be honest, and I think the biggest problem I would say is that the game is coming out full price. Wouldn't have a problem playing it rather on launch if it was free or even a bit cheaper, but I probably wouldn't buy it full price for after playing that. especially when I know Halo is 1 month away after that. It's like it's a lot of money to ask for what felt like kind of like mediocre. I had its moments, but
Yeah, I do think it'd be super fun to play as like a squad though, getting like all of your mates on, um, and playing it because it's something you don't even, you can play over four as well. I know the squads are only in four, but you could still queue with loads of people. You just you're in your squad of four, and your other mates are in a different squad of 3 and 4 and stuff like that. You're still in the same lobby, so
yeah,
I
I see
do
the
think
appeal.
it could be really fun. It could be really fun. But
Yeah, no, I see the appeal. It's just, I guess it's just, yeah, like it didn't do anything for me that Big Team Battle didn't. Like that. That's it. Like and all of the problems that I had, like most of them, most of the problems I had with what we played at Battlefield were already solved. And I know they're different things. I know it's 12 versus 12 versus whatever it is, 100 billion versus 100 billion.
64.
But like, it makes no difference. Like, it makes no difference. I like when I'm in an area in Big Team Battle, I know where people can come from. Okay, like we've had our complaints about the radar, but for the most, whereas Battlefield, it's like I just don't know. Like, it's just crazy. It's just like maybe leaning a bit too much into that chaotic side, whereas but Big Team Battle feels like control chaos.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it shapes up, but um, I'm not totally sold on it as a full price game. I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be good, ish. But
Well, lucky you're getting it for £35. So
oh, am I?
if we buy it, yeah, because we do the old sharing thing. So 70 half.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, you're not going to pay me for it, you toxic. Unreal. To be fair, you bought Diablo fucking shit too, anyway. So
Diablo shit too.
I ain't paying you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Might buy COD.
Good one.
Yeah.
COD is dead this year. Hate to be that guy, but
it's not though, is it? It's not really though, is it?
no, it's
Gonna
not
sell
really,
millions.
but it should be. It should be. It's such a freaking lukewarm COD this year.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Even Battlefield with all its issues, I would take it. I would take Battlefield 2042 over the new COD this year. But
And this is what I'm thinking as well. Back for Blood is out next week. That's free on Games Pass. So in the 3 weeks between Back for Blood and Battlefield, are you really going to drop 70 quid on Battlefield?
True. Yeah.
When Halo's like just around the corner, So it's like, I feel like,
I've been
whatever.
Watching,
we'll see where we're at, but
I've been watching quite a lot on Back for Blood, and it does look pretty cool. I have seen that some like pre-reviews and some reviews coming out already, and people have said like the whole transition to the console, the whole aiming is a bit jank and not very well handled. I've heard the control scheme is a bit shit. I mean, you can change it up, but I heard it takes quite a lot of tweaking to get it to feel, okay, right? So yeah, you can tell they've definitely given it more love for the PC platform before consoles. But
yeah,
I do think it looks really fun, and yeah, a change of pace. I haven't played a game like that for so long, and I'm actually quite looking forward to tucking into it, to be honest.
I think cool. I'm surprised because when I had a look on Open Critic earlier, it's only had 2 complete reviews and 1 review in progress, and so it's had a 7.2 and an 8 so far. So I'm, I would have imagined the game will end up in the mid to high 70s. It's had a bit of controversy itself actually with solo progression. I don't know if you've seen this. Like, you can't get any progression in solo; you have to matchmake. But that's another conversation. For now, they've addressed it and they said like, we're going to look into this and get this sorted for you. But I mean, that's obviously not a big deal for us. But yeah, I'm excited to play it. I know not much about it, but tying it back in, I guess, to sort of just tie up the Battlefield conversation, I reckon that will tide me over for that. And we'll see where we're at the time, I'm ready to renegotiate, I'm an open-minded guy, DICE, but, it's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, I kind of agree. But Back for Blood's on Tuesday, and we'll probably be talking about that in next week's podcast. So if you want to hear some hands-on impressions from 2 grounded gamers, obviously subscribe and share with everyone until we blow up and get really
Of
big,
course.
like 2 million followers or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, something like that. If you could do that yourself, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
if you have
Thank
2 million friends, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Also, do you want to be our friend, like
Yeah.
the Mr. President?
I don't really think they
all
do.
right.
I think they've got enough.
Yeah, you're probably right. Far Cry 6 came out this week, my dude.
Good.
And I don't know. I feel like we get this reaction to every Ubisoft game. Happens every time.
We do.
And that's fine. And I don't really want to bore everyone to death because I'm sure everybody is already familiar with the conversations around, it's fucking comfort food, it's like a fast food, it's Ubisoft game, copy paste, yada. Yeah, okay, fine. But COD's been doing that for like a decade and it still breaks records every time. Lots of games do this. I don't know. It's a bit weird that actually Ubisoft games tend to catch the most flack for this. It's a bit weird. But the more I've seen of it, the more I've kind of found it appealing. And I know that's really weird, but because you read reviews, right? Because reviewers will do that. They will give you the impressions and they will use those phrases like, same as last one, you'd have to play it. But who buys every Far Cry game? I haven't played Far Cry since 4. So as I've been like looking at it and like seeing more and more of it, I've been like, you know what? Maybe some of these reviews are a bit harsh because like it looks kind of fun. You got all your open world approaches, you got your skill trees, and this, that, and the other. A lot of love goes into these Ubisoft games. Yes, they're safe. Yes, they have a formula. But I don't know. Like some of the best games of like the last gen were like very formulaic. Like Ghost of Tsushima won like game of the year at the Video Game Awards, and that was essentially a Ubisoft game, from what I heard, with better combat, albeit, and obviously really nice thematically. But Horizon Zero Dawn was kind of like that as well. It had like your towers that you had to capture, and again had some really good combat, had some nice RPG elements, but most Assassin's Creed games do. So when it comes back to Far Cry 6, I've been like kind of looking at it and being like, actually, this looks better than I thought it would, because I've been giving it a lot of shit for a while because it was like I don't think they sold it very well with the trailers, other than the Giancarlo Esposito, the villain, being in it, even though the motion cap looked like okay at best. Yeah. So I don't know, man. What are you thinking about Far Cry 6? I think it's sitting on like 79 on like OpenCritic. I don't think it cracked the 8, so I'll double check now while you tell us what you think.
Yeah, I'm in very similar sort of territory to you. I'm quite harsh on Far Cry's in the sense that been there, done that. But yeah, I feel like if you look at it from a standpoint of you haven't played one for a couple of iterations, they are good fun. We have had good fun. We had a lot of fun on 3 and 4, and they're games that do go relatively deep with skill trees and RPG elements, and they look good as well, like graphically, and the environments look great as well. Like you said, the mocap on his face is a bit. I don't know. It's a bit. Yeah. It's not great. I even saw it in like reviews and stuff like that when he's talking like in the game. In cutscenes, I'm like, this doesn't look that great. I've seen mocap be done better in so many other games, which is weird because they had such a focus on him playing the villain and him being in this game,
the marketing,
and then they kind of subpar the mocap on him. I don't know. It's a bit weird for me, but I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be against it. If you were just like, I bought it, you want to play it today, I'd be like, yeah, it sounds like kind of fun.
And they brought co-op back.
Blow me up every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Well, they brought it back non-bullshit, did they?
I think so. Yeah. From what I saw, I had no idea. I don't think so. I just saw an IGN video about like, oh, let's we play co-op for 10 minutes in Far Cry 6, and I was like, what? And yeah, I think you just play the same character, like you don't. So I think you do just carry your shit over with you and get XP or whatever.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. I mean, we basically bought it solely for the co-op experience for 4 and 3 and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, if that's come back without all of its bullshit that it had in the previous games, well, just 5, I guess. And 4, no, 4 had all the bullshit tether and all that kind of
4
stuff.
did have tethering, yeah, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so yeah, if they ironed all that out, I wouldn't be against playing it. It looks like a fine game. It looks like a nice,
Yeah.
fun 7 out of 10 game. I'd enjoy it. I'd have a good laugh. The story's probably pretty predictable, but you're playing like an action movie, right? You're like playing
Yeah.
Die Hard, the
I
movie.
just
So
because I think like a lot of the criticism Ubisoft gets is like leveraged against the length of their games, like just the bloatedness. And I just really think if they just cut those teams in half, I know everybody says this, so this isn't exactly an original take, but like if they just cut that team in half, let one team go and do like their own thing, new IP, whatever. That's not a fucking battle royale spin-off with X Defiant and the Ghost Recon battle royale they just announced. The Go and do something original, and then half the team just work on like a trim, like story focused Far Cry game, because like they have so many interesting themes in all of them. Like this one, it's like a dictator in like Cuba. Previous one was like a religious cult. This one of them before was like like a terrorist living on an island trying to with his own military, like a private military. And these are all like really interesting themes, but they're just never really explored. Like because they like to be wacky and have a bit of a sandbox. And I know people criticize those games for like trying to be non-political or too political, which is like dumb. Whatever, just fucking let them make the art. And they just take it down from 40 hours, make it a 20-hour game. Add this expansive like side quest and like nice bit of progression where people can go and do this. Don't make me sit through a campaign for 40 fucking hours, please, because these, for the most part, are accessible games. There's not a huge amount of depth to the gameplay. The progression is nice and it's fun, but like it's mostly just shooty boy. There is engagement in the in the level design and the progression, and sorry, the in the how you approach encounters is what I'm trying to say. But it gets stale after that much time, essentially. So I just felt like if they really trimmed it down and made it like super high quality with a big focus on these really unique ideas that they bring to the table, it'd be so great. It'd just be so relieving,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of the bloatedness from these Far Cry games and Ubisoft games also comes from a lot of side stuff. I feel like if you were just to blitz the main story and the main story alone, you probably could get it done quite quick. I don't feel like they're actually that bloated if you just play it for the story element, right?
I don't know if I've heard otherwise. But it's like,
okay. All
it's
right.
like Valhalla. Like, don't even get me started.
I mean, but that's Assassin's Creed. It's. I would expect Far Cry. I mean, what's Far Cry 6 campaign like? Is it that big? That's crazy. If it
from what I hear, it's like a 40-hour campaign. Yeah.
Oh God, that's fucking disgusting. No,
it's
I
just
don't
too
want
much,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah,
so
I don't want that.
That's the problem. Like, and I think I guess again, this is the thing. Like they're trying to make these accessible games, big marketing budget, an interesting premise, so that it brings like casual audience in. And that's the thing. Like they're mega casual games. This is for the person who plays one game every 6 months, one game every year, and there's a lot of value for you there. If you're like a 13-year-old, I guess you can't, because it's probably an 18 game. But if you just are a casual gamer, you find Far Cry 6 on sale. There's so much to do there, and like, I can't fault you for buying that game at all. But the 40 hour, and you probably won't even finish it. That's the worst part. But like they just want the value to be there for like that casual audience, I think, and that's can be a bit damaging, PR wise sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
cool. Far Cry 6, and the final weekly controversy: Destiny 2 vaulting content again. It's happening again. It's happening again.
Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, which is a shame because I think people, Destiny players, Destiny reviewers, Destiny everyone will admit that this is the best add-on that happened to the game. This is what revitalized their game. It was like the Taken King expansion for D1. Like a lot of people really enjoyed this. It brought great new systems to the game in terms of progression and the way it changed things, and it also came with a really cool story. And yeah, it's a shame to see it get vaulted, but it can't, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it brings up its own like controversy around like live service games and how developers handle this, because like Destiny kind of, whether you like it or not, are kind of at the forefront of this. Like they're leading the rest of the industry in like these social service evolving games that aren't MMOs. Like, yeah, don't give me that. So you know, Forsaken was the one with like the Dreaming City and stuff, wasn't it?
Yes.
Shadowkeep was afterwards, which
Yes, yeah. I think
was
Forsaken
I
had
think it was
it introduced the Dreaming City, yeah.
yeah, and that place is
And
fucking rad. So
it was the Cade focused expansion, wasn't it?
yeah, so Tangled Shore as well then
Yeah, Tangled Shore too. Yeah,
with
did it have
Spider.
Dreamings? Yeah, I think it did introduce the Dreaming City. Yeah,
Was Dreaming City
I
before
think
that?
it did. I don't know. We're not too clear on the exact events of Destiny
Well,
2. We have some
either
catching up
way,
to do.
Dreaming City is probably like one of my favorite places in Destiny 2 of all time, even if that's
It's
relevant or not to this
fantastic.
conversation. Tangle Shore is also very, very cool. Not my favorite, but it's also very, very cool. So, I can, and obviously the whole idea of stuff being vaulted is, I understand why it's upsetting on like, I guess, an ownership level, I guess, people where it's like stuff getting made useless that you've bought and like, yeah, but
It does have to happen. Like, otherwise
I
the
don't.
game is just too. It's just too bloated. It's too much to control. Like you need to filter it somehow. Like
I think, yeah, I guess because there becomes more stuff, and that means they have to hire more people to like QA it.
yeah,
And I'm sure they've provided a rationale for this somewhere. But like my understanding, what if I was thinking about this and I was doing it, the reason I would be wanting to vault stuff is so that any new mechanics that new mechanics could be introduced without it being at odds with old stuff.
yeah.
Right, like because if they introduce a new mechanic that broke an old strike or broke an old map, or like tried to inject a new enemy type that just wouldn't work in those old maps, like that's kind of what I'm feeling,
Mm-hmm.
like in what I'm understanding. But yeah, it is a shame. I understand why people are upset about it. It's not. There's no easy answer, really. I think to a degree, I think you've got to come into these games expecting that you've only got temporary time with the content you have.
Yeah, exactly. It is a weird topic though, because yeah, like you said, you did buy this, you did spend your money on it, but by the point this is getting vaulted, you should have got your money's worth out of it anyway. And loads of games do this. I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously, yeah, we said outside of MMO. I know, like ESO and stuff like that probably do this. World of Warcraft do it. I know that another example, that game we played was Hearthstone does it a lot as well, where they just phase out other cards. Maybe there's an element where they can create a new playlist where you can go back and play these, and it just disables new stuff. Sort of like Hearthstone did with its wild section and stuff like that. Maybe there's something like that for people who just want to, appreciate the art, appreciate the nostalgia. I understand that's a lot of resource and development still has to go into that though. But yeah, I don't have an issue with it. It's upsetting because I really enjoyed that campaign. It was really, really good. It's upsetting, sure, but yeah, I understand why it's happening. So
Yeah, maybe it's just like if it is a something that they have to do, then maybe it's just a matter of like expectation management. Maybe they just need to be more clear with the time frames of when this is going to happen. Big
yeah,
pop up when you purchase it in the store. Be warned that this content will only be available for the next 4 seasons, for the
yeah,
next 6 seasons.
Spring
Just a window.
2022 expected to be phased out.
Just a time window, yeah, exactly. And it's like you'll still have access to it. You can still, or rather, like the guns, you can still technically make them, but like they'll be phased out of usefulness, out of the current set or whatever. So, and some stuff won't be accessible. Yeah, so maybe it's just a matter of like being more upfront about that, because I think there's an element of feeling cheated that you just don't know when it's going to happen, or you buy it and then it's like, oh, it's going in a month, great. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're on to our news sections. Our news, bits and bobs, leaks, rumors, you name it, because this is the Quick Resume podcast, and this is what we do. You're right.
Sorry, there's just bugs everywhere.
Yeah, it's that time of year, man. It's bug mating season.
It really is, man.
They call it Battlefield 2042. Right.
So this will be my last. This will be my last episode with Quick Resume.
Oh, come on, give me a little giggle. That was funny.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Okay, so this is really interesting. In terms of Google metrics, Halo has been surging above CoD and Battlefield. I mean, it's been surging in line with the flighting, which is to be expected, but it's not a little bit. It's a lot. Like, the interest is surging a lot above them, which I don't know. I was not really expecting this, because I know it's been building goodwill for a while. I don't know, man. What do you think of this bit of news?
So what I mean, this is basically just saying that in terms of searches, it's getting more hits, right?
Yeah, in interest, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it does surprise me to see Halo at the forefront of this, but weirdly, it doesn't either, because, like I said, like, I think it is gaining a lot of traction, and it's gaining a lot of positivity from mainstream reviewers and people talking about it, and you name it, content creators and stuff like that, which all leads to people searching it. So yeah, I mean, and obviously playing it and experiencing that positivity myself and how polished it is. I mean, for example, if you compare the flighting to the Battlefield flighting that's technically happening right now, I mean, I said it back a couple episodes. I was like, you could throw a few more maps in and some customization and give us the battle pass, and that feels like a complete multiplayer. During the flighting,
Just polished.
Whereas Battlefield 2042 is actually kind of turned us off a purchase almost. With other stuff coming alongside it, like we said. So there's just so much positivity going around, and so much, like, it's gaining a lot of traction as this is the shooter for the year. Pick this up. It doesn't surprise me that it's getting searched more, but it is weird to see that, considering it's just a one platform game essentially.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
I think
knows, and it deserves
good.
it. So
yeah, good take. Because when they originally delayed Halo, and I saw that it was coming like November, I was like, I don't know, or like December, we knew it was coming out. That to me, I was like, oh god, why put it up against? I know they want it there for Christmas sales, but why put it up against the 1 year that we have a Battlefield, which is everyone's really positive on, and a new CoD, which supposedly, at the time we didn't know, was having some development troubles, but still it's CoD, and Halo, we saw from all the advertising last year, it still was developing a lot of interest, but the vocal bunch were quite down on it, and so it's turning out to be a bit of a perfect storm now. Vanguard, turns out all of those insider information was right. The multiplayer beta was a fucking mess from the videos that I've seen online. I thought the campaign gameplay actually looked fine, so whatever, but people are going to be angry about the multiplayer, understandably, about being buggy. And the Battlefield 2042 beta has been really mixed. I know some people have had a really good time, and we've overall said it was overall a good time. But if you had asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said yes, I'm definitely buying Battlefield. But now I'm like, maybe I'll just wait it out. And part of that is because it was a bit underwhelming to me, and Halo was overwhelming. I said, we've both said this now in multiple episodes, we weren't expecting it to be as good as it was, I feel as good as it was, as fun as it did. So it's and you said it yourself, it's not just the reviewers, but like I've seen content creators like draw direct comparisons, which you can't help. I've seen ACG, Skill Up, a couple of other guys as well. I've just said, like, God, it feels like totally different games, like in terms of polish. And Battlefield's coming out in a month. Halo's still got a couple of months, but to finish up. So I think a lot of people are seeing that. A lot of people are feeling that, and they're feeling like the updraft of, could Halo be the shooter of the holiday, which we haven't seen in ages. I think, and this is the big thing. A lot of the opinion that I'm seeing now is that because Halo has looked as good as it does, people are rooting for Halo to do well, and
Yeah,
that's having
it's
a
like
big,
an underdog, isn't it? It's
yeah,
like, which is weird for how big a name it is. To have an underdog presence is odd.
yeah, and that's I think that's generating a lot of conversation. People are like hoping that Halo sort of comes out on top a little bit, like you said, which is a bit funny considering it's only Xbox and PC, but that doesn't seem to be changing. I'm sure some of those are like hate clicks as well. Like fucking Halo, god damn it. Yeah. So it's if they stick the campaign, Halo could actually be like Xbox's best selling game of all time. I don't know if that's like an outlandish thing to say, or if that's maybe obvious. Like, I don't know, but I think if the campaign comes out, and because I think that as it stands, like if the multiplayer launches matchmaking good, enough maps, enough content, some like stuff we haven't seen or heard yet, maybe a few more game modes here and there. It could easily be somewhere in the range of 9 to 10, I think, in terms of reviews. The campaign, if it hits in the same range, like 8 to 9, I think Halo could quite comfortably become the dominating shooter this year, and that's massive. So, and this is just following that trajectory a little bit. It's just everybody is like, the only reservation everybody has is that campaign, which ultimately, like, it's another conversation, but it's interesting. It's like, does that make a difference with the multiplayer being free to play? If the campaign bombs, let's say, would Halo still have this same effect? And I think it might do. So we'll see. Oh, okay. We seem to have lost him. So I'm just going to stop the recording, and we'll be right back with you. Okay. So, is there anything else you wanted to touch on for that story of sort of Halo Infinite interest surging above CoD and Battlefield?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that. I mean, you were talking about the whole like campaign and multiplayer and whether or not it make a difference if the campaign bombs. I mean, I think it will to an extent of the actual name, right? The Halo Infinite name. But at the end of the day, they're releasing as two separate products, so they're going to be reviewed as two separate products as well. So I still think, regardless if the campaign was like just pretty lukewarm, not great, people are still going, especially Games Pass subscribers, and are going to still be downloading and playing and enjoying the multiplayer that will no doubt in my mind get very well reviewed from what I've played. I would be very, very surprised if that multiplayer didn't scrape together a 9, like a 9 plus. So I think it will affect the name, but I don't think it will affect the actual product that much and the overall downloads, clicks, and active player count too much. So, but
yeah, definitely. No, I'm with you there. It's like, because if the overall package was reviewed at like an 8 because the multiplayer was like a good 9 and the campaign was a 7, maybe that's underwhelming for a Halo, even though it's a good score. But like, if in those reviews it all says multiplayer really good, best multiplayer this season, it's not like people are locked, like have to buy the full package. So whereas that is a problem for COD, that is a problem for Battlefield. I know COD has like Warzone for free, but they're still doing their multiplayer as part of the bundle, as far as I'm aware. So I think it definitely has that going for it, and I think a lot of people are undervaluing how big that's going to be, especially with it being the best performing, best looking one so far. So we'll have to wait and see. But just a really interesting sort of trajectory there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. There's a couple of other Halo things. Just in case you thought you were going to escape talking about Halo more. There's some weird leaks coming out every week, and I'm not going to talk about every single one because some of them's like icons for emblems and like loading screens, like customizable loading screens and things like that. And that might not even be launched. Some of it might be cut content. Some of it might be due for a couple of seasons. So there's just no point in going over going over all of it. But this one, however, was like actual gameplay that I saw. I've got a link of it on the note if you want to see it. But it essentially showed a limited lives mode called Attrition on the maps that we'd already played. So you have a collective pool of 10 lives or whatever for 4v4.
Yeah.
And there was reviving, which negated the loss in
Mm.
life. So and there would be a little, your AI would be there, and there'd be a little ball. It looked like the old active camo balls, like the blue, kind of like that, but obviously not as old. And your AI was in the middle of it, and you could revive. It felt very Trials of Osiris from what I saw. It was only a short video, and that's not a bad thing. I always liked the feel and the flow of those sorts of games. There's a lot of like tension. Yeah, and I think one of the arguably the biggest part of this is that towards the end, when these games get towards the end, and this people haven't died yet, usually a secondary objective pops up. It'll be like hold this zone. In this, a ring closed in the arena.
Oh,
Well, that sounds familiar, doesn't it?
yeah.
So it's obviously got people speculating about that because that mechanic's already in the game. Is there, or well, we've already said there will be, like, it's inevitable. There will be a battle royale in Halo, and I would bet my left toe on it. Just a little one.
Hold him to that.
But for launch, I don't know. That's still up for debate, I suppose. But like that mechanic's already in; they've already made it. So yeah, I don't know. Thoughts?
I mean, thoughts on the game mode. I think it fits Halo really, really well. Like, I think that's fantastic. I could definitely see that being cool. I mean, I would think that. I mean, so is it 6v6? Is it?
No, it's 4v4. Same as before. Same maps.
Oh, 4v4. 4v4. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's an element to me thinking that maybe the maps could be a bit smaller to cater for a game mode like that. Because I know, like, the Trials of Osiris maps are tiny, aren't they? But they're really not that big. But I'm just trying to think back to when we played like Social Slayer. I mean, definitely on like the firing range one, it works and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds awesome personally.
Fits it well.
And yeah, definitely fits it really well. And the whole reviving in Halo is very interesting. That's cool. And it opens the door to messing around with other game modes that might require reviving as well. They could definitely play around with that. Maybe a search and destroy kind of type thing. That could be kind of cool. One life with revives per round.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. I mean, I'm completely on board with that. And then the whole ring closing mechanic as well. Obviously, it's nice to know that, like you said, it's in the game, it's been developed. So there's no reason why they might not play around with that for a BR at a later date. I don't think there'll be a BR at launch. I'm almost convinced there won't be. But yeah, in the future, great. That's really cool.
I really like reviving as a mechanic.
Yeah,
it sounds
it's
stupid,
cool.
but I like reviving. That's like they added it to Sea of Thieves. Like, I don't know, that's really dumb, but really dumb thing to bring up. But like they added reviving Sea of Thieves just because I think it always adds an extra element of like interactivity between you and your friends, and like a good revive can be just as like satisfying as like a good kill.
Yeah, it's an outplay mechanic. You can use it like that. Yeah, for sure.
And it rewards good positioning and all of that. So, because if you die in a good place, you can still get revived. So, yeah, definitely agree. I think this is really cool, and it draws more attention to the sandbox. I think in almost a weird way, because like if you're fighting over a grappling hook, you secure the grappling hook for your teammate. You have to think really carefully how you're going to use that to, like pressure the other team into making a mistake or to like getting a life down. So big fan of this. I think this sounds really good. I like that style of game mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's actually got me quite excited. Like, I would definitely want to play that 100%. Because I enjoy those. It kind of makes every life feel worth something a little bit more, and you think about it a bit more rather
Yeah.
than just like rushing down a lane just to get shot or contest a power weapon or something like that. You know, instead you might just be like, okay, maybe 2 or 3 of us should contest this power weapon. I'll go in and you cover me. You know, this sort of thing, because the life is more precious, right? It's not just you hit your head against a wall and you know you spawn back in. It's fine. Um, yeah, I actually think it could be really, really interesting. And I like it when Halo um, takes it in different directions. Like I really enjoyed that breakout game mode that Halo 5 had. I thought that was really cool. The faster TTK, the one life per round sort of thing, small custom arenas. I was a huge fan of that game mode. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Game modes, yeah. Halo has always thrived with its game mode, so I'd like, and it's become a bit of a dying like trend. Like get lots of different game modes in like even like recent CODs, from what I understand, have had like way less. You know, it's a bit of an old school thing to have loads, and you know, like Halo would have like multi-team or doubles, or I know some of them would cycle in and out like limited time modes, but you know, like rocket hogs, like whatever it was, you know, like just
Yeah.
dumb shit, griff ball, you know, shotty snipers, things like this. Yeah, and I think this is a really interesting thing to add to the mix. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see more of it. I meant to say actually, they had 343 have said that they're in their next update this week sometime they're showing off ranked and competitive
Oh, cool.
to like show how that's all going to work and stuff. So should be a good update for us.
Yeah, I'd like to tune into that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Wicked. All right, last Halo story of the day. Forge, more Forge stuff leaked. Holy shit, Tim. There's proper scripting, proper like flowchart scripting.
Oh yeah.
This, from what the reactions I'm reading of people, because I'm not fully like privy to this, but I understand it, like on its most basic level. But from what I've read, like people say this is like mental, like full on scripting, and you could make like full campaign missions with this level of like ability to craft things. You know, that's so. It's hard to. I guess it's difficult to like sort of fully visualize because you haven't seen what people are going to be able to do with it yet, but you know it's going to be mental. Yeah, and we already knew it was going to be mental, but this is like another layer of bananas.
Yeah, I mean, it looks crazy. Yeah, it looks like you can literally just go in and change how your buttons affect and interact with the game and stuff like that. By the looks of this image and everything like that, you could. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
You could literally just do whatever you want. You could essentially just develop your own level and game mode rather than just tweak something and play around with stats on like a base level of something. That's kind of crazy, and really, really exciting.
Because like I guess I haven't since Halo this has all been happening. I haven't really been thinking. I guess I don't know. I find it hard to get excited for custom games and Forge. I don't know why because the majority of my time with Halo 3 was like just pissing around in custom games and Forge. But and again, I think part of it is that I know you don't know, you can't get excited about what you don't know, like what isn't made yet, you know. But like seeing all these tools here just makes me think that it could give us some of like the funnest, you know, party modes. And it's one of those things that like keeps people on Halo. Like keeps because I meant to say this actually last night. Me and some of our mates, we were like just looking for shit to play. We played some Lemsip Gate, and then we went off and fucked around on golf with friends. I was just drinking beer, laughing my fucking ass off, like just smacking an acorn-shaped ball around, and I couldn't with like 0% gravity. It was so dumb, but sometimes like you just have party nights where like there's nothing really you're super keen to play, and you know you've got a lot of friends on, and you can all just have a good fucking time without needing to get sweaty or you know. So, and being able to do that in Halo without even changing games is like this is it's crazy, man. So hopefully it's worth the delay.
Yeah, and I think judging from what we're looking at here, it definitely seems like it's worth a delay. It's intimidating. Sure, you could look at this and think that's intimidating. Like that's going to take a very long time to make something, and I don't know. We definitely have one friend comes to mind that I feel like he could literally live in Forge now, and that kind of scares me. Um, but yeah, so there is definitely a intimidating part of it, but it's so exciting as well, and you could just have so much fun with it and just make the most bullshit things that just don't make sense.
Yeah,
And when you don't feel like sweating or like playing some multiplayer, you're just like, yeah, let's just fuck around on this, right?
yeah. And then you think
Um,
about the equipment, man. The repulsor, the grappling hooks, the thruster packs. Like you're going to be able to do some just ridiculous shit.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really really cool.
Awesome. All right, well, we're done with Halo. We did it. Until
Oh
next
wow.
time. Yeah, I know. Next up is In Exile's final multi-platform bit of content ever, with the final Wasteland 3 DLC, Cult of the Holy Detonation. I couldn't find any reviews. I think DLCs, depending on the game, don't typically get reviewed. But I've heard through the grapevine, that it's really good. It's right in line with the rest of Wasteland 3 stuff, like good dark comedy, great RPG systems, world reactivity, all of that. It's playing Mario Rabbids has given me a hankering to go back to this game, a little bit. So yeah, it's interesting. Brian Fargo said it himself in his tweet that it marks the end of an era working with third party publishers, because they were with shit. I can't remember. I thought it was Private Division, but I don't think it is. And he said himself will get to spend more focus and attention purely on the creative. And as we know, these guys are working on a steampunk game, supposedly with the next biggest budget in Xbox Game Studios other than Halo.
Wow.
So I'm happy that they're done. As selfish as it sounds, I'm happy that they're done making content for other platforms. I felt this way with Obsidian when they were finally done with Outer Worlds. I'm like, great, now they can just make games like that are tailor made for the Series X and S, and they can really have that budget and that creative freedom to make them better, essentially. So yeah, man, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It marks a nice positive end to an era, and a good game. The Wasteland 3 was a great game from what I heard. I mean, we didn't play it too much, but um, yeah. And now, like you said, it opens them up to do all their other crazy cool projects, and they've ended on a really great note. So really, as a developer, you can't ask for anything more. So congrats, and
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing what you make in
yeah,
the future.
without a doubt, without a doubt. Wicked. Yeah, that's in Exile. Grounded had a new update. Hot and Hazy. Hot and Hazy update. I meant to put a link to a video in the notes, but I didn't get around to it. I don't know if you saw anything about it. This is
No.
it's such a funny fucking game. They've added like RPG elements now. Like each character has their own skill tree. I'm not
Oh,
joking. Yeah. There's like group skills as well. You can like level up weapons and armor now. Um, there's 4 new environments, like a sandbox where you can like dig and find shit in it, and it's like really hot, and you have to go from like shade to shade. A place called the Haze, which is like a swampy type of area. It's grounded, man.
I mean, it all sounds great. Yeah, Grounded was always a very interesting game. It definitely it has so much potential, and it is a good game as well. Like, it's such a great idea, and such a good vision, for that type of survival game. Like the whole idea behind it is just really cool and fascinating. And I have a lot of respect for it, even though I didn't actually get on too well with it. I mean, we had fun on it, sure, but those games, and I think at the time we played it
It's
as
early
well.
access. We played it, so
Yeah. They can feel a bit chory. Those kind of games. It can be a long. It can take a long time before you get to anywhere. stable enough to just like put down your controller and like go for dinner, then you won't die and lose everything you just picked up for the last 3 hours. They can feel, yeah, they can have quite a weight on you when you play them.
Yeah, you don't have a
But they are
spider
also
stepping on your house.
yeah. But they are also so fun when you get into them with a group of mates as well. And there's a part of me that always wants to go back and play this again.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And obviously, this all sounds great. Like, I'll take that all the time.
Yeah.
If you give me skills and just developing the overall gameplay is fantastic. Not just adding like new materials you can build your house with or something like that. They're actually genuinely changing the core gameplay is very ballsy to do. So yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. I'm always side-eyeing Grounded, like all the time. I suggested it last night when we were going through our games and apps to like have a look at like what we're going to play. I was like Grounded, and everyone was obviously like, oh no, but I was like, I'm not joking. I kind of think it would just be fun. It doesn't have to be like a 2-year commitment, but it's just very like unique in its presentation, and it performs surprisingly well. Looks surprisingly good. Yeah, and the combat is surprisingly fun. I know that sounds stupid, but like I quite like the physics in it of like tossing the spears and slingshots and stuff. Like it just feels surprisingly good.
I was actually about to say, is it had any next gen improvements, frame rate increases, or anything like that?
I don't think so, but it always ran at 60. It always ran at 60.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe we should play some Grounded tonight. But yeah, that's the next update. That's the next update. I'm really happy with that team because it obviously it got a lot of traction when it first launched, and it was an Obsidian game, and everyone was like, "Oh, Obsidian's bought by Microsoft, and now they're making stupid like Honey I Shrunk the Kids survival games." It's like, oh my god, it's like 12 developers or whatever. So it's I like the stuff that they're doing with this, I guess, is where I'll leave it.
Yeah. I like that they haven't just left it to like just like die either. They still love it, and you can tell it's a passion project for them. And I'm sure it's got a very healthy player base. Like there's no doubt in my mind that it has a very healthy player base. But I feel like they update it quite regularly as well. Like I don't feel like these updates come like once a year or longer. I feel like they update it.
They're quite efficient,
quite quick. Yeah, quite efficient.
And like we know, like we said this before, but like Obsidian are known for being a very efficient studio. They put out stuff quite quick. Maybe it's because they're like good at prototyping, or they're just comfortable with their setup or their teams or whatever it is. But like that this is going to be something that does continue to get supported because it's now part of Xbox. And more than anything else, Phil has been on the record loads of times saying they want like PG games. I'm sure there are going to be more in the future, but Grounded is like perfect for that. Like, oh my god, get some teenagers or some kids on that, they're going to be absolutely loving it. So I think they're going to keep supporting Grounded, and Xbox are going to keep supporting Obsidian to make Grounded for like a good time to come. So if keep chipping away, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up is just weird. Xbox being weird. Xbox doing weird shit, shitting out hardware, shitting out brand deals that don't need to be done. Xbox and Adidas teamed up to make shoes. That's it. That's the story. That's the tweet.
Nice, man. I preferred the Krispy Kreme collab, but this is kind of cool, I guess. Still don't really want to drop like £200 on a pair of Adidas shoes.
No,
but it's kind of cool, I guess. I don't really feel like I wear trainers like that much anymore.
I don't know who's buying this.
No, me neither. It's kind of weird. I mean, most people don't really fucking buy green trainers anyway, but green is a very hard color to match. You have green trainers with blue jeans, you look kind of weird.
You look like a dumbass. Yeah,
I mean, maybe like
spearmint
black jeans or like charcoal kind of jeans.
Yeah,
maybe it kind of works, but it's still a bit weird. Like it's just
Get away with some
I don't know.
chinos, some sand chinos maybe, but it's a bit of a clash. Yeah, it's just not. Because the thing is, the person who's likely to buy this is probably a nerd. It's like no offense, but you're probably a nerd, like, and you're probably not exercising. I'm making assumptions here. Okay, fine.
Dude.
Fucking sue me.
I lift, bro.
They're trainers. Okay, but you're not running in these, are you? You're not running out in your Xbox shoes. I mean, maybe that's the whole thing, that they're trying to get nerds to exercise more. I'm a nerd, but I wouldn't wear these when I exercise.
You do need to exercise more.
Shut up, man. That's not true. I just don't know who. So I guess it's just being treated as more of a collector's item. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. They'll probably have limited stock, and it would just be like a fun little thing. Yeah, it's not going to be a continuous thing. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Oh, and the fridge. I forgot about the fridge, although that was actually kind of funny. But Xbox mini fridge.
Yeah,
that's happening.
Yeah, fridge is cool. Plus,
So,
that actually caters to nerds because they can store their fucking Red Bulls and Monsters and junk.
That makes sense.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow. And you can put your Adidas shoes in there as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Who doesn't like a nice cold shoe on a foot just before a run?
Oh god, actually that sounds good.
Yeah.
So when you take your socks off in bed, it's good.
Oh, you wear socks to bed? All right.
I do.
We're moving on.
I wear them so I can take them off.
Oh, so you wear them until your feet get uncomfortably sweaty, and then you're like, "Oh yeah!" When you take them off,
and then I get the quilt and rub that shit on my feet, so it's all cold.
The bottom of your quilt just must be so covered in feet sweat. That's gross.
My feet don't really sweat, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you get sweaty feet in bed?
If I wear socks, yes.
What socks are you wearing?
So sweaty. So sweaty.
Have bear fur wrapped around your feet.
We're moving on. You're weird. You wear socks to bed.
I'm not weird.
Weird.
You're weird.
Everyone,
no.
if you clip this part of the podcast and tweet it or put it on Facebook or anything, you will have comments saying you're weird. I win this argument. Do it. Clip it.
Not true.
I dare you.
I will. I fucking will. I'd put a poll up if we had more than eight followers on Twitter. I'd put a poll up and we'd have answers.
Just do it.
No, because
post it to all the fucking Reddits.
No, because I don't.
Even if you get banned,
I don't sleep in socks really, unless I'm really cold. I take them off.
Oh, thank God! If you slept in socks, I feel like we'd be cancelled. Cancel culture. We're done. We're done. If you slept in socks.
Well, if it's cold at you. Maybe you just need some comfier socks, man.
There's an Xbox headset and a controller here. I can see in the notes.
Yeah, great. They're the 20th anniversary Xbox controller and headset. They're literally just the normal controller and headset with a translucent plastic, and I don't know. It doesn't do anything. I don't like that. I think you quite like the see-through plastic, don't you? You're into that, correct?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to just keep a really straight face for
all right.
some reason. Yeah, it's all right, but it's unnecessary, and I don't know why they're doing this. But it's a bit of fun for the 20th anniversary, I guess.
20th anniversary. I mean, I got that cup a while back. That's a really cool cup. Yeah. I'm actually wearing the shirt.
Then they went for I know. Why didn't they? I think it would have been cooler if they kept the gold theme.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why'd they go see-through? 20 years ago, Xboxes weren't see-through.
I guess maybe it's literally paying homage to that. That was a popular thing 20 years ago. Early 2000s, see-through plastic. Oh, look at the innards of your fucking controller. Oh, it's...
Yeah, I guess so.
So anyway, I think it looks like shit, but whatever. I like the color palette. I like the color palette of black and green. I just don't like the see-through thing.
Yeah.
Makes it look cheap to me, but yeah, whatever. This is weird. This is really fucking weird. You can connect. So this controller only. You connect to your Xbox, and it unlocks a dynamic theme for you that you can use, a 20th anniversary one that moves around and fucking.
Why am I not entitled to a 20th anniversary theme unless I buy your controller?
If you take that theme off, it disappears until you reconnect that controller. So you could give it to a friend by connecting your controller to their Xbox, but as soon as they take it off, it goes. This is a really weird thing. This is really weird.
It's dumb.
It's weird, right? Just give it to me.
It's really dumb. I just want my background.
I
I've
would
given you
put that
enough
on.
money.
Yeah, I would put that on. Like if they just release it. Maybe they will at some point, but I don't know.
I hope so. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I think it's really annoying.
It's a bit petty.
Yeah. We hardly have any dynamic backgrounds. You're just starting to introduce them and then you tie it behind a fucking hardware sale.
Yeah. And it's like,
Screw you, man.
I've bought stuff. Like, why can't I? Like, I just don't.
Yeah, that triggered me a little bit.
That's right. We don't often
I'm
get
not a
triggered
huge
on a
fan.
podcast unless we're talking about
And it
stuff.
looks kind of cool as well, the background. It's like Matrixy. It
Yeah.
looks kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is.
What the hell, man?
Philly cheese steak. Give me some more dynamic backgrounds.
Yeah. One of him would be great.
That would be great.
Just like him just doing like a really slow wink.
Just on
or
repeat.
something. Yeah. Oh, mate.
Wow.
I'd do that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's this week's section of Xbox wasting money. Next up is Games Pass, your Games Pass editions. We've spoken about Back 4 Blood, which I'm going to say again, perfect Games Pass game. Would be really hesitant to drop full price on it. I'm assuming it's full price.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Philly cheesesteak. You've redeemed yourself. We've also got Tabs, totally accurate battle simulator, which you thought was the battle royale one, right? I explain.
Yeah, it turns out there's a totally accurate battle royale. It's called battlegrounds. So it's tags, not tabs. So this was the first one that obviously inspired them to make a battle royale themed one. But I've seen like YouTubers. There's this YouTuber I watch called Tio, who's like really funny. I've seen him play the battle royale version with his friends, and it just looks fucking hilarious. It looks so funny and wacky, and I thought it was that, and I got really excited. But it's not. It's just I like one of our friends said. I'm not even sure if this is multiplayer. I think I'm not sure how it works, but kind of bummed me out.
Okay. It turns out there is 2v2 co-op on this, though. I didn't know there was co-op in this, but apparently there is.
Yeah.
I just want to really quickly, because maybe I shouldn't. No, it's fine. We'll move on. So, there's other stuff that I've never heard of. Ring of Pain, The Good Life. Don't know. I can't read that. The next one. Visage and the Rift Breaker. Can you see what that other one is at the bottom left? Can you see that?
It says Procession Caldu. Colladu.
Oh yeah.
You heard it here first.
No, that says the Procession of Cavalry.
Oh yeah, that does say cavalry, yeah.
Does it say cavalry?
I thought it said Kalodu.
Cavalry?
It's not even a word.
The Possession of Koldu.
It is cavalry, I think. Oh god. Whatever, that one.
That one, yeah, anyway. Wicked. Back 4 Blood is obviously the standout there. Tabs is pretty cool. It always looks like a good time. So maybe I think I might have put it on download actually. Yeah. And cool. Destiny 2 Beyond Light makes its way to PC Games Pass as well, which is lovely. Huge Game Pass edition, so that's good for PC. Awesome. Okay, we're coming to the final bits and bobs. We've got the first party now, even though I guess we kind of have already spoken about In Exile with their DLC, but it's fine. Cut me some slack. It's been a hard week, all right? Mm-hmm. Famous Xbox Insider Clobbril, he's a little fucking squirrel on Twitter. You should know him by now. Says Compulsion Games is working on a dark fantasy third-person action adventure. We know Compulsion Games, developers of We Happy Few, have been developing the game in a while. We know that a couple members of staff have said in interviews that this is like the most exciting pitch of a game they've ever worked on. We know that Phil Spencer has personally called out Compulsion Games as one of the studios under Xbox that he's most excited about in terms of their creative potential. we didn't know until now what sort of game they were making. Clodbro has said it's a dark fantasy, third-person action adventure. Given how wacky We Happy Few was and all the stuff in that, I obviously am very excited to see where this goes. And this obviously fills a gap in the portfolio of games that Xbox needs. So, anything to add?
No, not really. I mean, it's a very cool genre. It's a very cool type of game to make. Like you said, we don't tend to make too many of those as a studio. PlayStation has tons of them, so it might be kind of cool to have a story-driven third-person game set in. Yeah, this was the one. This is no, I can't remember. But yeah, sounds cool. Sounds great.
Can't complain.
Nothing much more to add there.
Nothing much more to add there. I think it's just one of those things that people have been like on full alert about. The Xbox needs, third person action adventure games to counter Sony, and it's like they don't, do they? Like, yeah, okay, they'll plug that gap at some point, but like, and it's not like dark fantasy. Like, not all of their games are going to be dark fantasy because we've spoken about the overabundance of that genre in the AAA space, anyway, at least before. But yeah, so we know a few are coming. Fable is going to be third person. Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones probably will be as well. Starfield will have both. Elder Scrolls, yada yada. List goes on, and so it's just a nice one to add to that catalog. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll hear about that. Like, if not this year, at E3 next year.
Yeah.
This was really new. I just saw the next bit of news about Machine Games, developers of Wolfenstein. I just grabbed a screen of this earlier, but they are working on an unannounced title according to a job description. I mean, I know that should sound kind of obvious, but we know they're developing Indiana Jones, and Pete Hines of Bethesda has said, whatever he is, what does he do over there? Is he marketing? Might be marketing. Can't remember. Community director? Might be community director. Maybe he's both. He said that Wolfenstein 3 is going to happen at some point. That's all we know. We all, because it's been radio silence for so long, we kind of all assumed that because Machine Games are making this game for Disney, that they've dropped everything else and they're just like 100% on indie to make sure Disney, the big mouse is happy.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is Wolfenstein. This is what you can't trick me. This is Wolfenstein. This is Wolfenstein 3. So it's got to be. It's got to be.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if they'll put co-op in it. Probably not.
What, Wolfenstein 3? No, I think they'll keep it as a single player sort of story game. They might have a cool multiplayer game mode, like a little spin-off thing, but no, I don't think they'll mess with the formula for the single player.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So we'll have to see where that goes, but Machine Games, they've also hired like 10 to 12 like developers over the last 6 months as well, so they're growing a bit as well, and they've been quite high talent recruitments as well. I think there was someone from like Rockstar and sort of like Sony Studios as well, so they're obviously suiting up for indie, but obviously the rest of their stuff as well. Yay! That was the first party pie. Good job, everyone. Nice short and sweet.
We did it.
Nice short and sweet.
Yeah.
As we come towards the end, Jim Ryan, Big J himself, head of PlayStation Studios over there, had an interview with GameIndustry.biz, and it was just kind of interesting because he had like this whole conversation about console sales like seeming to have a bit of a soft cap, where like even when there is a console dominating the market, they never seem to be able to breach a certain number. I can't remember the number exactly. And obviously Xbox's solution to this is xCloud, Play Anywhere with PC. Nintendo, they want to treat it as a portable console to try and like get a bit of each market. Sony, on the other hand, have been doubling down on the idea, or at least from a PR angle, have been doubling down on the idea of like exclusive, AAA games you can only play on your PlayStation, and then obviously Xbox caught a lot of heat for like putting their games on PC for ages, and Sony were like, we believe in generations, don't even worry about it. PlayStation 5 only. Games developed just for your PlayStation, and then they slowly started like rolling their games out to PC, and people are really weird. People do weird stuff, man. Somebody threw their controller at their TV in anger. They were like, "Why would you do this? Why would you put Horizon on PC?" It's just so weird. So, fuck. Where was I going with that? So I think it's just weird because I don't trust what Jim Ryan says ever, because he's like repeatedly says stuff which isn't true just because it sounds good at the time. That like stacking 2021 with release dates. Okay, fine. I'll give you the a bit of leeway because of COVID. And the whole "we believe with generations" thing, the whole like, oh, we're developing for PS5, and so when they say that they want PlayStation games playable everywhere, like, I don't know what he means by that. I don't know if it's just an empty platitude, or if it's like we actually are going to look into more solutions to try and break that console ceiling. We know they're pushing more and more games onto PC, even though they're not doing it day and date like Xbox are. They're doing it like maybe 6 months down the line. Will they look into streaming more? Will they have like a PS Vita successor? That console kind of died, so who knows? But yeah, I just thought it was interesting to bring up because it's not in line with the rest of the philosophy that the PlayStation seems to be driving by. I don't know if this is like reactive to the strategy that Xbox has been having, or if it's, like I said, just an empty platitude. What do you think?
I think it's something that they'll probably explore, right? I think it's really, I mean, aside from a potential really backfire on a toxic fan base, it is kind of a win-win for them to branch out and put their games on PC, right? From a business standpoint, it's just more sales, right? Ka-ching. But it does depend on how it reacts with their already established fan base, which obviously is not going down too well. So I think the main battle they're having there is how it's going to affect concurrent users, rather than they know it's a win for the future, in terms of just pure sales and stuff like that. But yeah, they have to be careful how they trigger their current fan base that they've built up. So I think it's something that they want to explore, and maybe they're just testing the waters by giving it a bit of public eye and seeing how much backlash it gets, and then based on that, they're like, "Oh, we were kidding," or like, "We meant it in this way, not the way that you're thinking." Or if it goes down all right, maybe they will start to look into it more. But
Yeah,
it's definitely reactive based on Xbox's success with it and extra sales and stuff like that. I do think it's something they want to do.
yeah, and that's the thing, is it's hard to pinpoint like if this is a strategy they already had in mind and now they're reacting to Xbox, or if it's like they didn't have it in mind and that's why a lot of their PR speak has been contrary to Xbox's approach to the business. But now they're like, oh yeah, no, definitely, want to put it on PC, and because they've explored like similar things. Like obviously, PS Now is streaming. I think you can only do that to your PlayStation and I guess your old Vita as well. And they have like remote play as well, which is quite good. I've used it before. Like it's give props to it. I've used it before to like my Mac, and pairing the controller to my Mac was a breeze, way easier than it was to pair my Xbox controllers. But now, thankfully, they've been updated and it's easy as well. So yeah, I think it is. You can see bits and bobs of it in the strategy in the past. It's just they're not quite there, fully committing. Because of course, like the argument that people will say, they'll be like, "Oh well, if I can play your games on PC, why would I buy a console?" And I just don't think Sony are willing to put it. Well, it doesn't seem like they're willing to put their money where their mouth is yet, and like launch games day and date on PC and PlayStation, because they kind of want to tease.
Yeah.
They want to give people a reason to keep buying PlayStations, whereas Xbox is beyond that. Xbox is a platform now, and it's not even up for debate. Xbox and PC are together, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're just not ballsy enough to take that final step. They're kind of just testing the waters and just seeing how it goes.
Yeah, and frankly, they don't have the same infrastructure as Microsoft and Xbox do. Xbox has Games Pass to like lower that barrier to entry. They have xCloud, they have all of this, whereas PlayStation doesn't have that. So it is a bit of a risky adventure, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It was worth bringing up. In the last story for today, unavoidable, absolutely useless for me, but Windows 11 launched. Xbox had retweeted it and said, "Oh, it's the easiest, OS for gaming now, this, that, and the other." I have a Mac. I don't use Windows other than on my work computer. So, do you use Windows at all? I think you're on your personal laptop, right?
No,
No,
I
you
don't.
don't.
I don't have a laptop. No, I mean, I work on Mac, and I work exclusively with Macs at my company. Well, not exclusively. There is a handful of Windows computers which will obviously now operate on Windows 11. But yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, I've read into it a little bit, just job wise, and it looks pretty shit hot. Like Windows 11 does look really nice, and it's definitely a lot of improvements over 10. So yeah, I'm quite excited for it, and yeah, if it's beneficial to gamers, which obviously Windows, if you're a PC gamer, you have to use Windows, right? It's I don't think it's such a thing as a Mac gamer, so yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. It has potential to be massive if they're releasing a new OS that is the most intuitive it's ever been with gaming. So it's a big deal, but doesn't affect me directly too much.
I saw some stuff about because they've revamped the App Store, haven't they?
Yeah, they
I can't.
basically have made like an app store, like Apple do.
Yeah,
with the Microsoft Store, they've integrated it into the OS.
yeah, and I've seen you can download the Epic Store from there as well, which apparently is new or something. Maybe you had to download it from a website before or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was just that you downloaded that. It's a separate client.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect, like I said, it doesn't affect me at all. The only thing I want is Xbox to bring the Xbox app to Macs. Because I find myself using the app on my phone sometimes, and when I'm on my Mac, it can be nice to remote play from there, from a device which you can't do unless the app exists. Obviously, there's XCloud, but there are times where it's my Wi-Fi is more reliable than the cloud, and that's not a dig at the cloud. That's just how it is. So yeah, but maybe this is likely to be something which is useful for the PC part of Xbox's strategy. So we'll just have to wait and see. I know the Windows Game Store has been a big turn-off for a lot of people. So I'm sure there's been some developments in that department as well. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they completely revamped it. So
yeah. And if there's anybody else out there who's using Windows or Windows 11, let us know if there has been any developments in that area that you're familiar with. Is it better? Is it worse? Are you hopeful? But other than that, that's all news stories. We did it. Controversial topics. Socks in bed. Grounded's cool. Halo's winning. Xbox wastes money on weird partnerships with shoes. That's pretty much it, really. That's the TLDR. Tim, my boy, got any closing thoughts for this marvelous episode?
I mean, my only closing thought is I think this might be our longest episode ever on record.
Oh,
I think we've gone for actually. I think we might be approaching the 2-hour mark.
Well, I think we're just over it. Yeah, we're just over it.
Yeah. So yeah, if that doesn't deserve 1 million followers, I don't know what does.
Yeah. I'm sure you made it this far, listener. Thank you. Definitely didn't click off at minute 3.
Yeah, that's true. With that intro you did today, probably the first 10 seconds now.
Yeah.
No closing statements from me. It's been fun to talk about everything we have in today's episode, and I actually quite look forward to talking about Back 4 Blood next week.
Yeah, man, same. Yeah, we'll be back. You can bet on that with some Back 4 Blood impressions. And other than that, drink some orange juice. Make sure you put some water in the freezer so that you have ice when you're hot.
See ya.
Boil your kettle so that you can fill up your drinks and your water bottle, and have a good time. Bye, everyone.
Telling people how to use their appliances.